Computing trends and technologies. In this video I will cover technological and social trends in games, changes in games over the years, current and emerging technologies, how the requirements of users have changed over the years, how games meet the requirements of users. Technological trends. Playstyle. Playstyle refers to how you control your player. Examples of playstyles are third-person camera perspectives, top-down, which is common in 2D games, or first-person shooters. Producers. Producers refers to the game developers and publishers. These are the teams or individuals who build a video game from scratch until the game is ultimately published. Security issues. There are many possible security issues within gaming, mainly online gaming. Multiplayer games that use peer-to-peer networking are quite susceptible to DOS attacks from agitated players, and a player's IP address is visible to hackers. The use of credit cards are also a potential risk when input. Platform. The major platforms include PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, Windows-based PCs and mobile phones / tablets. On mobile devices, the two main platforms are iOS and Android. There are multiple platforms on which a game may be released on. Software. The software of a game refers to the programming language in which the game is coded. The most common language for games development is C++. A few examples of other programming languages include C#, Python and Scratch. Hardware. The hardware of a game refers to which device it is able to be run on. This may range from something like a PC, PlayStation or Xbox to a smaller device such as a mobile phone or tablet. Game engine. The game engine is the engine that was used to develop the game code and is also used to design the assets. The purpose of a game engine is to help simplify the development process of a game by helping to render graphics, having custom-made physics options, collision detection for characters, and aiding with the scripting and animation for both objects and environments. Emerging technologies. There are many emerging technologies relating to games and games design. The main two are virtual reality and augmented reality. Virtual reality is when a game has been created with the intent of complete immersion and it shuts out the physical world. However, augmented reality incorporates the physical world with the game. A good example of an augmented reality game would be Pokemon Go. Social trends. Genre. Within gaming there are 10 popular genres. These genres are racing, fighting, simulation, open world, action-adventure, sports, first-person shooter, battle royale, role-playing and multiplayer online. Some examples of these games include Mario Kart, Dynasty Warriors, Sims, The Witcher, The Legend of Zelda, Wii Sports, Call of Duty, Fortnite, Elder Scrolls and World of Warcraft. Players. Players refers to the main demographics that are expected to play the game. There are usually two types of games, casual and serious. Casual games usually describe mobile games which a player can play for several minutes and then leave the game without losing progress, and is ideal for commuting, waiting or generally wanting to waste a couple of minutes. On the other side are serious games. Serious games require more hours dedicated to them and typically have more complex narratives, grinding for experience / resources, or have multiplayer leagues to move up or down. Depending on the game content, it may also have an age rating that could be 3+ for everyone or 18+ for adults only. Artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, commonly known as AI, is becoming increasingly sophisticated within video games. When they first started out, they would stick to the same pattern regardless of the player's past attempts. However, now they are able to try and outsmart the player through trying to guess their next moves, improved path finding, etc. AI isn't always your opponent, however, sometimes they can be your teammates or characters that accompany the player throughout the game, whether they fight alongside them or are just neutral AI in the background. Pedestrians in Grand Theft Auto, for example. These are commonly known as NPCs, non-player characters. Examples of technological trends. Some examples of technological trends include game engines, software and security issues. To further explain from the last slide, these engines are used for developing the game code and for designing levels and assets. Two types of engines are common in the industry, a proprietary engine or a licensed engine. Licensed engines are usually favored as they are cheaper and don't require a developer to construct all assets and code from scratch, but it could be constrained in what it allows. Proprietary engines can be expensive and time-consuming but offer greater flexibility as it is tailored specifically to a certain game. The purpose of a game engine is to simplify the development process by helping render graphics, custom-made physics options, collision detection for characters, and scripting and animation for objects and environments. As explained in the last slide, the software is the programming language that a game is coded in. C++ is the most common language for game development and is used in most game engines. However, games have also been known to use C# and Python, as well as Scratch for older generations of hardware. This also covers the operating system of the console or PC. For example, PlayStation 4's operating system is Orbis OS and was developed specifically for the PlayStation 4 system. For PCs, games are basically required to run on Windows OS software as this is the most popular operating system that gamers use, but they can also run on Mac OS or Linux, which is up to the developer's discretion. To explain the security issues further, these refer to the problems facing online games in particular. Sometimes there may be concerns with security. Multiplayer games that use peer-to-peer networking are susceptible to DOS attacks from agitated players and a player's IP address is visible to hackers. There is also the concern of credit card information and personal details with microtransactions and subscription-based games, as if these are compromised then hackers can potentially obtain sensitive information. Developers have therefore needed to introduce encryption for keeping important details safe in the event of a data breach to minimize the spread of customer data. Examples of social trends. Some examples of social trends include players, artificial intelligence, and genres. The players of a game explores the core demographics that is expected to be playing this game. Games are usually separated into two categories, casual and serious. Casual games usually describe mobile games which a player can play for several minutes then come off without losing progress and is ideal for commuting, waiting, or generally wanting to waste a couple of minutes. Serious games on the other hand require more hours dedicated to them and typically have complex narratives, grinding for experience /resources, or have multiplayer leagues to ascend. Depending on the game content, it could also have an age rating that could be 3+ for everyone or 18+ for adults only. Artificial intelligence or AI had very simplistic beginnings in which they were just an obstacle to jump on or over in classic platforming games and to evade in arcade classics such as Pac-Man and Space Invaders. However, over time, AI has become increasingly sophisticated in video games in that they will try and outsmart the player through trying to guess the player's moves, improved pathfinding, etc. Artificial intelligence isn't always your opponent, however, sometimes they can be your teammates or characters that accompany the player throughout the game, whether they fight alongside them or are just neutral AI in the background. For example, the pedestrians in Grand Theft Auto, for example. These are commonly known as NPCs or non-player characters. A genre in a video game may be referring to the stylistic genre, for example, the setting or weather, or it could also be referring to the way in which the player uses the game. For example, in Doom the player is playing a first-person shooter game. Popular genres include action-adventure, platforming, racing, RPG, strategy. Changes. Some of the changes over the years include technical innovations, mobile gaming, and market demographics. The newest part of technical innovation would be VR. This stands for virtual reality. Video games have already managed to become more popular than many other forms of entertainment, including digital music, film, box office, and recently, television. I believe that virtual reality will add another layer into the entertainment community and will add another layer for developers. However, there will also be further experimentation with controls, for example, adding touch screens, voice controls, and gestures to game mechanics when the consoles add peripherals to take in these inputs. With the increase in gaming consoles increasing at a significant rate each year, mobile game developers are needing to work out ways to better their competition and potentially become a better seller. Many mobile game companies have decided to combat this by producing games for mobile platforms with roughly the same quality and performance of the game console games. The expansion of the market demographics may in fact be the most important trend within the gaming industry. Many more people are playing video games, whether this be serious gaming or casual gaming. Both the age and the gender demographics playing video games has increased. Some of the current and emerging technologies that impact games are augmented reality, virtual reality, and mixed reality. Augmented reality, otherwise known as AR, is an interactive experience of the real-world environment in which objects that reside on the physical world are then enhanced by computer-generated perceptual information. VR is mainly defined as a system which fulfills three basic features. These are combining both real and virtual worlds, real-time interaction, accurate 3D registration of virtual and real objects. Virtual reality, otherwise known as VR, is a simulated experience that may be similar or completely different to the real world. Currently, the standard users of virtual reality systems use either multi-projected environments or virtual reality headsets to generate realistic images, sounds and other sensations that help to stimulate a user's physical presence in a virtual environment. A person using virtual reality has the ability to look around the artificial world, move around in it and interact with virtual features or items. The effect is commonly created by VR headsets consisting of a head-mounted display with a small screen in front of the eyes but can only be created through specially designed rooms with multiple large screens. Mixed reality is similar to augmented reality as it not only overlays, but also anchors virtual objects into the real world. The following slide shows how games nowadays have adapted in order to meet the requirements of users and a larger computer industry. Stereotypes within the gaming community are generally directed towards the gender barrier associated with gaming. Although both men and women play roughly the same number of games, there is a stereotype that female game players are not true gamers. This is because women on average play more casual games that don't require as much dedication or skill. Stereotypically, the term gamer refers to male players, but recent research has shown that girl gamers are increasing, with roughly 63% of mobile gamers being females and 37% being men. With 60% of these females playing mobile games almost every day, compared to 47% of males. LGBT and racial representation is slowly increasing in video games but is still relatively uncommon and usually results in stereotyping characters according to cultural normalities. There is also a harsh backlash from the gaming community towards the revealing of a game character's sexuality, as characters not straight, white and male aren't universally accepted due to the main demographics of serious games being white male demographics. This has resulted in some developers and fans receiving death threats for trying to be more inclusive of minorities. Gaming on Demand provides users with a service that provides entertainment, finance and timing. This allows customers to purchase their favorite games without leaving the comfort of their own home or waiting in queues. This is a huge advantage to users because they don't have to worry about whether or not the game is in stock. There are three different types of video game consoles. These are home video game consoles, handheld video consoles and hybrid video game consoles. Home video game consoles are devices that are generally supposed to hook up to a television or any other monitor and with a supplied outlet, therefore requiring the unit to be used in a fixed location such as PlayStation 1. Handheld video game consoles are devices that typically include a built-in screen and a battery so that the unit can be carried around and be played anywhere, such as the Nintendo 3DS. Hybrid video game consoles have elements of both home and handheld systems such as the Nintendo Switch. Thank you for watching.